If anyone believed the Christmas box incident was the end of the story, they were wrong. That moment was only the warning shot. Because what followed wasn't wrapped in festive paper or brushed off as a misunderstanding. It arrived quietly, almost politely, disguised as sentiment, sealed inside velvet and lies. Sources close to Flagstaff are now whispering about a second attempt, one far more calculated, far more desperate, and far more revealing. This time, Kody Brown didn't send a box of seasonal clutter. He sent something meant to carry weight, history, and obligation. Or at least, that's the story he wanted everyone to believe. According to multiple insiders, Kody allegedly mailed his estranged daughter truly a piece of jewelry to mark a personal milestone. On the surface, it looked like a father trying again, reaching out with something meaningful after being publicly rejected once before. But behind the gesture was a familiar pattern. Control disguised as care. Nostalgia used as a weapon. He reportedly framed the jewelry not as a gift, but as a legacy item, a sacred Brown family heirloom passed down through generations, something that belonged to Grandma Janelle, something precious, irreplaceable, and symbolic. The message was clear even if it wasn't spoken outright. This isn't just jewelry. This is who you are. This is where you come from. This is what you owe. For Kody, this was a pivot. The Christmas return had bruised his ego more than he let on. A returned gift isn't just a refusal to a narcissist. It's a rejection of their version of reality. It says your effort didn't matter, your authority didn't land, your narrative failed. And Kody doesn't handle that kind of rejection well. So instead of doubling down with material excess, he shifted tactics. He moved from transactional gifting to emotional entrapment. He stopped trying to buy compliance and started trying to manufacture history. Sources claim the package included a long handwritten letter, heavy with flowery language and grand symbolism. Words like legacy, bloodline, heritage, and destiny were reportedly woven through every sentence. Truly was described as special, chosen, a princess of the Brown kingdom, the rightful inheritor of something ancient and sacred. It was no longer about reconciliation. It was about obligation. If she rejected this, she wouldn't just be rejecting him. She would be rejecting the ancestors. Or at least, that's what he hoped she would feel. What Kody failed to account for was one crucial thing. Truly Brown is no longer the child who waited for scraps of attention. She is observant, she is sharp, and she has grown up watching everything. She has watched the show. She has watched the dynamics. She has watched her mother be dismissed, sidelined, and erased. And perhaps most importantly, she has watched the internet archive every single lie. When the package arrived, it didn't land like Kody imagined. There was no rush of emotion, no tears of gratitude, no sudden desire to reconnect. Instead, there was tension. The return address alone carried weight. Kody Pass, the place where promises went to die. The place that represented everything unstable, conditional, and performative about her father's love. Truly opened the box not with excitement, but with caution. Inside was the velvet case. Polished, heavy, intentional. She read the letter first. The tone was familiar, grand, self-important. Written like a king addressing a subject rather than a father addressing his daughter. The words tried to tell her who she was supposed to be and how she was supposed to feel. And then she opened the jewelry box. What she saw didn't match the story. It wasn't delicate. It wasn't aged. It didn't carry the subtle wear of something that had lived a life before her. It looked shiny, mass-produced, stylized in a way that felt familiar but not comforting. Familiar in a commercial sense. Familiar in a televised sense. Familiar in a way that made the back of her mind itch. This is where the story changes. A different child might have doubted themselves. Might have assumed sentiment where none existed. Might have swallowed the story just to keep the peace. But truly didn't. Something about the design pulled at a memory she didn't even know she had. The shape, the metal, the aesthetic. It felt less like a grandmother's jewelry box and more like something she had seen before. On a screen. So she didn't put it on. She didn't text him. She didn't react at all. She investigated. Growing up on reality television means your life becomes a database. Every moment cataloged, every prop documented, every outfit archived by strangers online who remember details the people involved pretend to forget. Truly knows this. She knows the internet never lets go. And she knows where to look. According to insiders, she began with the obvious. She searched the archived listings from My Sister Wives Closet, the jewelry business that once drained the family finances and fractured relationships under the guise of unity. A business Robin called her dream. A business Janelle feared would bankrupt them. A business Christine quietly paid for in emotional labor and silence. It didn't take long. There it was. The design matched. Not just vaguely. Exactly. Same curves. Same metal. Same overly literal symbolism. Same clunky attempt at meaning. A piece once listed online for an inflated price, now long out of stock, which everyone knows doesn't mean sold. Means stored, forgotten, buried. But truly didn't stop there. Because product listings can be explained away. Kody could spin that. He could say it was inspired by family history. That grandma influenced the design. That it was custom made. He's always been good at turning facts into fog. So she kept digging. Episode by episode. Confessional by confessional. And then she found it. A screenshot from season 6. Robin Brown sitting on the couch, tearful, talking about sacrifice, unity, and how hard she works for the family. And around her neck, clear as day, was the necklace. The exact necklace. The same piece now sitting in Truly's room, wrapped in velvet and lies. That was the moment the narrative collapsed. Because this wasn't an heirloom. It wasn't legacy. It wasn't ancestry. It was a prop. A symbol of favoritism. A reminder of the business that took from the family pot and gave nothing back. A piece of Robin's past being handed to Christine's daughter and called history. And Truly understood exactly what that meant. Her father hadn't given her a piece of his heart. He had given her leftover inventory. He hadn't thought about what she would value. He had thought about what he had available. She wasn't being honored. She was being used as a dumping ground for a failure he didn't want to look at anymore. That realization didn't make her cry. It made her precise. What happened next is why this story is spreading so fast among insiders. Truly didn't write an angry letter. She didn't demand explanations. She didn't ask for accountability. She chose something far more devastating. She printed the screenshot. She circled the necklace in red. She placed it on top of the jewelry inside the box. And she sent it back. No note. No message. No emotion offered. Just evidence. Because silence, when paired with proof, is louder than any confrontation. And by doing that, Truly didn't just return a gift. She returned the lie. When that package arrived back at Coyote Pass, the dynamic shifted permanently. The moment that box crossed the threshold back into Coyote Pass, the illusion shattered. Whatever fantasy Kody Brown had been living in, whatever story he had been telling himself about reconciliation, about being the misunderstood patriarch whose children would eventually come around, died the second he saw the return address. For a brief moment, denial likely took over. Reflex. A defense mechanism. Maybe she's resizing it. Maybe she's sending a thank you. Maybe this is proof the heirloom worked. Because in Kody's world, his plans always work. Until they don't. He probably didn't open it alone. That would be unlike him. This was a moment meant to be witnessed. Validated. Shared. He likely gathered Robin, already rehearsing the victory speech in his head, already framing the story before the facts could interfere. This is how he operates. He narrates reality before reality has a chance to speak. He probably said something about legacy. About how Truly finally understood. About how the bloodline still matters. And then he lifted the lid. What stared back at him wasn't gratitude. It wasn't reconciliation. It wasn't love. It was Robin. A younger Robin. Crying on a couch. Wearing the necklace. Circled in red like a crime scene photo. No words. No explanation. No escape route. Silence has weight. And in that kitchen, surrounded by cluttered countertops, expensive art, and the quiet hum of a life built on denial, that silence must have felt suffocating. There was nowhere to redirect the narrative. No way to spin it. The lie wasn't questioned. It was proven. Truly hadn't argued. She hadn't accused. She had simply said without saying anything at all, "I know exactly what this is." For Kody, this was worse than rejection. This was humiliation. This was his authority being dismantled by the one person he still believed he could control. He wasn't dealing with an ex-wife who had learned to laugh at him. He wasn't dealing with adult sons who had already emotionally checked out. He was dealing with a daughter he had underestimated. And narcissists do not forgive underestimation. But if Kody was stunned, Robin was reportedly spiraling. Because for Robin, this wasn't just about a failed gesture. It was personal. That necklace wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was inventory. It was history. It was her dream. The dream she insisted would secure the family's future. The dream that drained the family pot while she framed herself as the most misunderstood victim in the room. To see that dream returned, exposed, and rejected by Christine's daughter wasn't just insulting. It was threatening. According to insiders, Robin didn't see this as truly standing up for herself. She saw it as an act of aggression, a hostile handling of property, a violation. The whispers coming out of Flagstaff suggest Robin immediately latched onto the condition of the box. Packaging, the velvet case, anything she could use to shift the focus away from the lie and onto the logistics. This wasn't about deception anymore. This was about damage, about disrespect, about how the necklace could no longer be considered new. That detail matters more than it seems. Because it reveals the truth Robin and Kody don't want to say out loud. This jewelry was never about sentiment. It was about value. Monetary value. Resale value. Liquidation value. That necklace wasn't priceless. It was priced. And in Robin's mind, truly had compromised it. This is where Kody's reaction takes a darker turn. Shame is dangerous for someone like him. He can't sit in it. He can't own it. He has to redirect it. And Robin handed him the perfect narrative. This isn't about me lying. This is about her being ungrateful. This isn't about manipulation. This is about disrespect for family assets. This isn't about control. This is about consequences. And just like that, the story flipped. Truly wasn't the hurt daughter anymore. She was the problem. The disrespectful one. The destructive one. The child who didn't understand the value of what she had been given. It's classic Kody. When exposed, he doesn't self-reflect. He retaliates. And this is where the financial threats begin to surface. Quietly at first. Whispers pass through intermediaries. Suggestions rather than statements. Implications rather than declarations. According to multiple sources, Kody began hinting that Truly's rejection of the heirloom might have consequences beyond hurt feelings. That maybe someone who doesn't respect family legacy shouldn't benefit from family resources. That gratitude isn't optional. That relationships come with conditions. And then the word started circulating. College fund. That phrase carries weight in this family. It always has. Because money has never just been money in the Brown household. It's leverage. It's control. It's proof of favor. And now, it was allegedly being dangled like a threat. The implication was chilling. Accept the gesture. Apologize. Fall back into line. Or risk losing financial support for your future. It's here that the story crosses a line. Because threatening a child's education over a returned necklace isn't discipline. It's coercion. And it forces a question that long-time viewers have been asking for years. Does that money even exist? The deeper you dig into the Brown family finances, the shakier the foundation becomes. We've watched Kody and Robin live a lifestyle that doesn't align with the constant claims of financial stress. Expensive art, jewelry, vehicles, a mansion filled with collectibles, loans taken out, equity tap, Money moved. Promises made. Promises forgotten. If Kody had the liquidity to fund Truly's education without blinking, would he have gone basement shopping for a gift? Would he have pulled dusty inventory from a failed business instead of commissioning something new? Would he have needed to rebrand a product listing as an heirloom? The answer feels obvious, which is why the threat doesn't feel powerful, feels desperate. Because if Truly calls his bluff, he loses. If she asks for statements, for proof, for transparency, the illusion collapses. He can't produce what was likely spent years ago on Robin's dreams and Kody's ego. And he knows it. That's what makes this moment so volatile. Kody isn't holding all the cards anymore. He's holding a story. And Truly already proved she knows how to fact-check it. From Truly's side, the threat likely didn't land the way Kody hoped. She has watched her mother build a life without him. She has seen Christine create stability through actual work, not performative leadership. She understands something Kody never will. Security doesn't come from people who weaponize it. And that's why the return of the necklace wasn't impulsive. It was strategic. Truly didn't just reject the object. She rejected the entire transactional model of love Kody has operated under for decades. The idea that affection can be bought, that loyalty can be enforced, that history can be rewritten if you repeat it loudly enough. Inside the McMansion, the atmosphere reportedly shifted from shock to siege mentality. Kody grew angrier. Robin grew more defensive. The narrative hardened. Outsiders became enemies. Truly wasn't just distant. She was defiant. And defiance, in Kody's world, must be punished. But here's the thing about power. Once someone realizes you don't actually have it, you can threaten all you want. Doesn't work anymore. And that realization was already setting in. Because while Kody was escalating, Truly had already moved on emotionally. Once the shock wore off and the anger set in, the real fear began to creep in. Because beneath the bluster, beneath the threats and wounded pride, Kody Brown was facing something far more dangerous than rebellion. He was facing exposure. The returned necklace wasn't just a personal rejection. It was a piece of evidence. And evidence has a way of unraveling stories that have been carefully rehearsed for years. To understand why this moment matters so much, you have to rewind to the era Kody still points to as proof of his leadership. The years when he was always on business trips. The years he claimed he was hustling for the family, securing investments, protecting their future, building a legacy that would outlast the chaos of plural marriage. He said he was trading in gold and silver. He said he was meeting investors. He said he was managing high-level logistics. And the wives believed him. Or at least they tried to. Janelle, the one who understood budgets, asked questions that never got clear answers. Christine, stretched thin emotionally and physically, trusted because trust was easier than confrontation. Mary held on to loyalty long after it stopped making sense. And Robin framed every sacrifice as proof that she was the most committed to the vision, the one who deserved the most protection, the one whose dream business needed everyone else's money to survive. That business, My Sister Wives Closet, was sold as a turning point. Brand, legacy, future. Kody stood in living rooms and demanded faith. He demanded labor. He demanded capital. He told the women who had worked real jobs, who had raised children with nothing, that this jewelry line would be the crown jewel of the Brown family empire. But it wasn't. It was a sinkhole. Orders didn't come in. Inventory didn't move. Designs were mocked. Prices were inflated. And the more it failed, the more Kody disappeared. More trips. More vague explanations. More talk of deals just around the corner. What viewers didn't see was the panic, the scrambling, the quiet realization that the dream was dying in real time. And here's where the insider theories get dark. Because according to sources now speaking out, those business trips weren't about expansion. They were about containment. They were about managing failure. About moving boxes. About storing inventory. About hiding the physical proof that the business had collapsed under its own weight. Unsold jewelry doesn't vanish. Goes somewhere. And that somewhere, insiders say, is the basement of the McMansion. The lower level of that house isn't just storage. It's a tomb. Boxes stacked floor to ceiling. Labels untouched. Packaging never opened. Thousands of dollars in sterling silver sitting in cardboard, tarnishing quietly while Kody ranted about poverty and sacrifice. While he lectured the other wives about tightening their belts. While he justified every demand in the name of family survival. This is the context that makes the necklace so damning. Because Kody didn't go to a jeweler for truly. He didn't commission a piece. He didn't buy something new. He went downstairs. He opened a box from nearly a decade ago. He pulled out a failed product. He polished it. He put it in a velvet case. And he rewrote its history. To him, this was efficient, practical, resourceful. Why spend money you don't have when you can rebrand something you already own? In his mind, touching it was enough to sanctify it. Associating it with Robin was enough to make it valuable. He convinced himself that context could be erased if he told the story confidently enough. But objects carry truth. That necklace wasn't neutral. It represented favoritism. It represented money that could have gone to medical bills, to education, to stability. It represented the moment when the family stopped being a family and became a hierarchy centered around one wife's comfort. And by sending it to Truly, Kody unknowingly handed her a physical symbol of her own neglect, wrapped in a story about grandma. That's the part that cuts the deepest. Because invoking his mother wasn't just manipulation. It was weaponization. He tried to use the dead to enforce loyalty. He assumed Truly wouldn't question it. That she wouldn't dare. That reverence would override reason. He forgot who raised her. Christine raised Truly. Christine, who learned the hard way that Kody's stories don't hold up under light. Christine, who stopped asking permission. Christine, who chose laughter over fear. Truly grew up watching her mother wake up. She absorbed that lesson quietly. She learned that love doesn't come with riddles and tests. So when that box arrived, Truly didn't see it as a peace offering. She saw it as evidence. She didn't open it with hope. She opened it like a case file. The letter was predictable, sacred, legacy, bloodline, obligation. It read like a script he had been practicing for years, waiting for the right moment to use. But the necklace itself told a different story. It didn't belong to a woman who lived a hard life on a ranch. It belonged to a woman who sat on a couch under studio lights and cried about being misunderstood. That dissonance is what sent Truly to the archives. And when she found the screenshot, the narrative died. Because reality TV is unforgiving. It records everything. It remembers what people try to forget. And by pulling that image, by circling it, by returning it without a word, Truly did something no one else had managed to do. She used Kody's own mythology against him. She proved he wasn't the keeper of history. He was a revisionist. And revisionists panic when the receipts surface. This is where Kody's behavior reportedly escalated from angry to erratic. The college fund threat wasn't just about money. It was about regaining control. About reminding everyone that he still had leverage. That he could still hurt them. But the problem with threats is they only work if the other person believes you. And Truly didn't. Because she had already figured out the most important truth of all. The empire was hollow. If Kody really had investments, he wouldn't be hoarding unsold jewelry. If he really had savings, he wouldn't be recycling inventory as gifts. If he really had security, he wouldn't need to threaten a child's future to feel powerful. The necklace wasn't an heirloom. It was a receipt from the scene of the crime. And once Truly saw that, there was no going back. Inside the McMansion, the atmosphere reportedly grew more paranoid, more defensive. Every returned call felt like an attack. Every question felt like disrespect. Robin doubled down on the narrative of victimhood. Kody doubled down on punishment.